Thrilled that we have Kevin OMalley. Kevin is an illustrator, primarily working on children's books, and he has written and illustrated numerous children's books throughout his career. At a glance, as I was sort of looking at his resume, sort of his list of all the books, the one that jumps out at me the most is one that's titled How They Croaked, The Awful End of the Awfully Famous, in which he sort of details 19 deaths of these world figures. My favorite chapter is entitled Henry VIII, Who Not to Marry. So I'm guessing this might be a bit of a crossover work into adult themes. But anyway, so he has a really beautiful aesthetic and a wonderful sense of humor. He also gives presentations worldwide in schools for kids, telling stories, creating stories on the spot, and talking about his drawing process, drawing along with those stories. So I'm really excited to hear what stories he's got today. So no further ado, thank you, Kevin. Welcome.
I've wanted to do children's books since I was in the 2nd grade. In the 2nd grade, I was not a very good student. I wasn't mean or rude. I never hit anybody. But I would tell my friend, go take those erasers and bang them over that girl's head. And this caused trouble, and they would send me to the library as punishment. And I was not a reader. And the ancient librarian, she was like 32, she came with a stack of books and she said, read. And I didn't want to read. So I'm going through the books and I'm looking at the pictures, and I find this picture of a little boy in a wolf suit chasing after his dog with a fork. And I thought it was the coolest picture I had ever seen in my life, because if you look at children's books, so many of them are written for ladies, for guys. No, they're not written for guys. They have a gentle side to them. And I was a boy that wasn't interested in the gentle side. So I saw this picture of this boy in a wolf suit, and I said, well, I want to do that. In 2nd grade, I wanted to draw children's books. So I drew, and then a terrible thing happened to me, and it happened to most of you. Around 4th grade, you looked at somebody else's artwork, and you said, that's awesome. And you looked at your own artwork, and you said, that's awful. And you stopped drawing, which is wrong, really. It's just wrong. I was an army scene guy. So how many people drew army scenes? Guys, did anybody draw stick figure army scenes? Yeah, so it looks like this. See, there's this guy, he's got a gun, and a plane goes over and he shoots and it explodes! And I thought this was cool. I was loving this, you know? But then one day I looked at it and I realized I was drawing pasta, you know? It wasn't a good thing. I was a stick figure man. And stick figures were very, I just love them. So I would draw a head like this, and I put a dot right there and a dot right there, and I put a mouth on them, and I put 2 dots right there. My mother said, why'd you put 2 dots right there? And I said, Mom, that's all I ever see when I look up at school. You know, teachers ought to learn to teach like this, unless they're doing a class on stalactites. I'd put arms on them like this. Look, I'm a ball on a stick. I go, no, no. I put a body like this. And I put a hand over here, and I go, yeah, 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 yeah. And I liked my drawing. I mean, I had no problem with my drawing until I looked at somebody else's drawing. My friend David, he was drawing like this. And he put a shirt on him, put a pair of boots on him, put a pair of underwear on him, put a cape on the back. And I said, oh, that's sweet. And I looked at my drawing and I said, oh man, I just drew a guy holding the sun. So I stopped drawing. I wouldn't draw in front of people for the longest time. I was embarrassed, like so many of you are, about your drawings. And I would go under my bed to draw, but underneath my bed was very tight, man. My brother's dirty sweat sock was in my face. I got hairballs in my mouth and I'm gacking like a cat. I found a hair in my mouth like Crystal Gale was visiting. So you're too young for that joke. She had very long hair. I got to 8th grade. I was mono-browed teen. You all were at one point. You got one big eyebrow. You were walking like Bigfoot, you know. My teacher's name was Mr. Snell. He had a beard under his chin and a ponytail and a chain attached to his wallet because he was a middle school teacher. He walked very slowly and his hand shook when he walked. In hindsight, he was teacher on medication, teacher on the verge of a nervous breakdown, a true middle school teacher. And he came up to me with a hunk of clay and he said, "Make something." And I said, "I can't, man." And he said, "Make something." And I said, "I can't, man." And his eyelids started twitching. Now, you don't want to see your middle school teacher's eyelid twitching. He said, "Make something." And his hair shot out. And the ponytail holder goes ripping across the room. My friend's walking in the door. No. So I made something, and it was better than I expected. And he said, "Kevin, the whole business of drawing is about controlling people's minds. It's about making something. When you write a book, when you write something, the whole idea is to control someone's mind. It's a magic trick." Let's see if I can do this. Okay, here we go. I take the nickel, I grab the nickel. It's right there. Now I'll show you how to do this. You ready? Take the nickel, grab the nickel. Which hand's it in? It's gone. It's in my lap. Here's how you do it. Put your hand out flat, middle finger and thumb, make the shape of an L, slide it underneath, drop the nickel. Which hand's it in? See, now kids will answer this. What happens to adults? Kids will answer this. Adults don't want to appear foolish. Are you sure? Come on, I just showed you. It's right there. What's wrong with you people? Okay, watch again. Okay. Take the nickel. Huh? Does anybody think it's in this hand? It's not. I just showed you. It's right there. Watch again. You take the nickel. You drop the nickel. Which hand's it in? You're sure? Not this one. This one. Wrong. It's in my lap. This is the best way to do the trick. I'll do it in slow motion because it's early and you guys aren't that smart. So. Don't watch this hand. So what? This is the best way to do the trick. The secret is controlling somebody's mind when you do this. That's all it is. And the same is true with drawing. Where'd the pen go? It's in my pocket. 8th grade, Mr. Snell, a wonderful teacher. He said, "Kevin, you knucklehead, it's about controlling people's minds." And I'm like, "What you talking about, old dude?" So he showed me these drawings. And we'll see how active you are in thinking about stuff. I said, "Oh, that's a line. Oh, that's parallel lines." What is it? No, it's an arm with something the doctor should take a look at. Smarty party. No, of course it can be anything. It can be ladybugs racing up a tree, and I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. But you could be a bear climbing a tree. Can you see the bear climbing a tree? Is it a good drawing of a bear climbing a tree? No, it's a great drawing, because I don't have to draw the bear. I had a kid look at this and say, "Oh, that bear is cute." Because once you have people seeing the bear, you can do this. The bear stopped climbing the tree. I'm just hanging on, baby. And then you can do this. Bear's falling off the tree. And then you can do the greatest drawing in the series. Bear fell off the tree. Now, you cannot draw a better picture of a bear that's fallen off a tree than that one. That's awesome. You have controlled people's minds in the most extraordinary way. The girl that thought the bear was cute She was crying. I said, what's wrong? She said, was the bear okay? I said, no, the bear died. Oh, see, oh. That's all you got to do when you're a writer is you write 3 words. You write, the dog died, and people go, It's the great American novel. First 30 pages, somebody's got to die. It's a rule. Otherwise, there's no motivation. The next picture Mr. Snell showed me was this. Now, what could that be? No. It's a target for your brother to hold. Hold still, brother. Okay. Fire when ready. What else could it be? An airplane coming right at you, the propeller of an airplane. Sweet mother of pearl. Do I look like Cary Grant? What else could it be? A donut with a stick. A donut with handles so you don't get your fingers messy. Handles on a lifesaver so you don't get your fingers sticky. How about a donut at Dunkin' Donuts that doesn't want to be taken by a cop? Get back. Seriously, man, get back. Take the jelly, man. Take the jelly. What else could it be? An eyeball with a stick going through it. You see it in the woods. Oh, oh. It can be anything, right? It can be a plate falling off a table. Oh, no, Mom, he did it. What else could it be? Fried egg with a sausage going underneath it. The new taste sensation. It's a food truck. There's a fried egg on a stick. Oh, no, I broke the yolk. It is, in fact, a boy wearing a sombrero riding a bike. Can you see it? No, I just told you what it, because I'm in this position now of telling you, and you say, okay, and you buy it. But it could be a plate falling off a table, couldn't it? But it is an amazing drawing. Is it a good drawing of a boy wearing a sombrero riding? It's great. You don't have to draw the bike or the boy. How many people can see this? He's going to make a left-hand turn. He's got a nose like mine. That's an awesome drawing. The last picture Mr. Snell showed me was, I said, oh, that's a hole in the paper. And he says, no, it's my best friend. And he's very far away. Can you see him far away? He's coming down the road. Can you see him coming down the road? You know what's strange about my friend? He's got 2 long arms, 2 sticky legs. How you doing? So this drawing is fantastic. You can use this 3 times in a book. You can write, my friend was coming to visit me. And people say, oh, that's nice. You know, come on, I have sandwiches. On the next page, you can use the same drawing and you can write, my friend was a freak of nature. And people say, I see that, you know. I see where the sandwiches go in, but where do they come out? And on the last page, you can write, my friend had to go home. And people say, oh, that's sad, you know, read that again, you know, it's marvelous, you know. And you So I didn't know this until 8th grade. I believe that everybody, and I try to encourage kids, and everybody should do it, you're watching a television program, is to have a pad of paper and a pen, and to sit down and make marks on the paper. I'm a big fan of pareidolia. Do you know what pareidolia is? Pareidolia is seeing a face, or like you see a rabbit in a cloud. That would be a form of pareidolia. Or you see in the front end of a car, it looks menacing, like a face. That's pareidolia. And why we do this is quite beyond me. I can't figure out what biologic imperative would say, I need to see a face, but we do. We all do it. You see a faucet outside a house or a spigot, and suddenly it becomes a face. And for just a moment, you see it. So you draw. You sit there and draw. And soon the thing that you're drawing will become more interesting than the television program. Like, I watch TV, but I don't really watch it. I draw all the time. I'm making marks. And I encourage people to try it for 1 month, is to sit down anytime you're in front of a television and get a piece of paper, cheap pen, and just start making marks. Because when you do it, it's amazing how you'll become more interested in your own marks than you are in something that they're trying to sell you. Do you know the author Sid Field? Or Sid Field was the creator of the motion picture form we use in America It's a lousy form, but it's everywhere. Sid Field created, good heavens. He created a system for telling movies. This is the system, and this is one way to get the ideas going. This is a storyline. This is the beginning, this is the end. And what Sid Field realized how to do was 40 minutes into the motion picture, this will happen. That's plot point 1. Remember PP1. PP1 is something happens to the main character that changes his or her life. Halfway through the motion picture will be an explosion or a chase scene. And its only reason it's there is to make you go, oh, wow, that's awesome. 40 minutes till the end, plot point 2. The good guy figures out how to beat the bad guy. In the movie Independence Day, oh, look, there's aliens. I wonder if they're nice. You know? Oh, no, they blew up the White House. That cannot be good. Oh, no, there's an exciting chase scene with Will Smith and an alien. He punches him in the face and he drags his body back, and they shoot the Coke can off the ship. They break down the shield. And now they shoot the Coke can, and plot point 2, we can beat the alien. And it's a horrible system, but it does get your brain going on storytelling. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. Beauty and the Beast. This is not Belle, but Bellini. We'll change the girls into boys and the boys into girls and see what happens to the story. This is Bellini. Ladies, this is for you. He's got that thyroid condition I know you like on men. So it's a goiter, I'm sorry to tell you. We're just hearing the story. So do you think you like the guy? I mean, is he, people don't know this. They pick up your book, you've got to put in more. And usually in fairy tales, you have to do 3 things. So Bellini runs around town all day looking at himself in a handheld mirror. He has a curiously short arm. And he says, I love me. And he's running around all day kissing himself on the mirror. And so you got to make it worse. Bellini will walk down the sidewalk and he doesn't look where he's going. People are desperately diving to get out of his way. And he's too busy looking at himself. And it's not really funny because I had to dive to get out of it the other day, and I knocked over this 2-year-old. I know, it was sad. I couldn't get my foot out of the kid's mouth. I'm like, get off, get off, get off. Bellini will cross the street. He doesn't look where he's going. Cars are desperately piling up, trying not to kill the man. Now me, I'm an old dude. When I get to the corner, I look right, I look left, I look right. Then I go, oh, no, go back. I look right, I look left. And I go, did I look right? No. So now you've got Bellini where you want him. People reading the story say, this guy's a jerk. In my story, Bellini is so taken with his haircut, he walks out of town and he walks into the woods, and he walks in far into the woods, and he runs into a tree, and the mirror falls and it shatters. My mirror, and he cuts his finger and he passes out. He wakes up at twilight, not dusk. I mean, not Twilight the movie. We'll call it dusk. He wakes up at dusk, and instead of walking out of the woods, he walks further into the woods. Now, we got to move it along here, so it rains, it sleets, it snows, there's a tornado. We need the exciting part. In Beauty and the Beast, what attacks Belle in the woods? Does it have to be wolves? What could attack? Dinosaurs. What? Dinosaurs. Yes, we're in a deciduous forest on the East Coast. There's a T-Rex hiding behind a tree. You can't see me. What else could attack? Bees? Like one bee? A swarm, a horrible swarm. Get them, we're killers. That's what we are. Let's go. What else? Gnomes. Little tiny, like, see you later, gnome. Okay. They're big gnomes, they're big, mean, cranky gnomes. What else? A bear, a circus bear on a ball. I run you over, baby. I'll come and get you. Anything else? You want some tail, baby? Here you go. I am dangerous. What else? Because it doesn't really matter what attacks, because the only reason that the attack happens is so somebody else can be introduced to the story. A rescue has to happen. So what else could it be? I mean, it can be as outrageous as you want. I said, you know, a badger? Honey badger. The one in the great video. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't care. That would be pretty good. But that violent, ripping up the guy, shredding him. It's a kid's book. There's blood. No, coming out of the woods is a gang of killer turtles. They're making their way over to Bellini. It's very exciting. You should see it in slow motion. The leader's about to take a bite. So, I missed. Bellini's up against a tree. No! Now, who saves Belle in Beauty and the Beast? The Beast, right? So we're going to have to make the Beast going to be a woman. This is how just a little technique for making things ladies. Okay. You are now a lady. Miss Beast appears out of the woods. She says, "Back, killer turtles, back!" I said, "Get back." How many times have I told you? 2 is not a gang. Yes, I'm going to tell your mother, yes. She returns to Bellini. "Are you okay?" And he takes one look at her and goes, "Ah!" And he passes out. She picks up his body and she carries him back through the deepest, darkest parts of the woods. And they come to a clearing where the light is shining. Great shafts of light are shining from the canopy high above. And they're hitting a solid gold driveway, which winds its way up the hill. And on either side of the solid gold driveway are topiary bushes in the shapes of famous NFL football players. It's awesome. They come to the top of the hill, and there is a Frank Lloyd Wright-inspired architectural masterpiece, a home of wood and stone and glass and a roof that leaks because that's how Frank made them. He steps inside, and there on the wall are French impressionist paintings worth close to $1 billion. She carries him into the video room, and there on the wall is the largest plasma screen TV. And in front of that is a lazy boy recliner. A lazy boy recliner with a built-in toilet. A man would never have to get up on a Sunday. He had a sweet chair like that. Got that handle, ba-whoosh. She puts a compress on his head and she pats his cheek. "Are you okay, sir?" And he wakes up and he looks at her and he says, "Man, are you ugly?" She says, "Well, that's very nice. I just saved you. You are so ugly. I just saved you from the... You are ugly. Do not say it again or I'll eat you." Peace. Okay. "Listen, little man. I just saved you from the killer turtles. I brought you to my house. You can stay here until you're feeling better. The minute you're feeling better, I want you out of here. While you're here, you cannot go where? Does anybody know where you can't go in the old story? The West Wing. You know why you can't go there? Because Martin Sheen is there. He's doing righteous indignation like only Martin can. She says, "Do not use the bathroom." And he says, "What?" She said, "Listen, you can use the bathroom that's downstairs, but I don't want to see you in the bathroom that's upstairs." And he says, "Whatever." And he goes to the bathroom because he hasn't seen his hair in over 4 hours. And to his horror, there is no mirror in the bathroom. And this freaks him out. He tries to use the shiny silver handle on the toilet, but when he looks at his reflection, he looks like this. And he goes, "Ah!" And he passes out. This guy got to go to the doctor, man. This guy's got some serious problems. He wakes up, it's close to midnight. And he thinks about this. He says, "She doesn't want me to use the bathroom." And he thinks for a long time because this guy is not very bright. If I said it was chilly outside, he'd go out with a bowl and a spoon. He puts lipstick on his head to make up his mind. He thinks the Canadian border pays rent. And then he realizes, he says, "Right, she doesn't want me to use the bathroom that's upstairs because there's a mirror up there, and she doesn't want to see her ugly self, but I've got to see my hair." So very quietly, he sneaks up the stairs so as not to wake Miss Beast. Very, very quietly, he sneaks down the hallway. Very, very quietly, so as not to wake the sleeping Beast lady, he opens the door to the bathroom. Quiet. Quiet. But I'm a squeaky door, man. That's what I do. Quiet. How come the candlestick gets the talk? Quiet. And he steps inside, and there on the wall is a painting of a Barbie doll. She's got the freaky grapefruit-sized eyeballs. She's got a freakishly thin neck. She has no waist. She can't eat. She can't poop. She's not healthy. He looks at her and says, oh, she's hot. Now he turns and he sees something else in this room. In the old story, what do you see? The rose. And what's happening to the rose? Don't say withering. What happens in the books? It's dying. Because then people say, don't die, little rose. Oh, please don't die. But if you say the petals are falling off, people go, yeah, that's what happens with a flower, man. You say it's dying, don't die. So does it have to be a rose? What could it be instead of a rose? A what? A hairdryer? Oh, no, hairdryer, don't short out. It could be, in a glass jar is a hairdryer, the brand new model. What else could it be? Oh. He's always losing all his hair. I'm going to be naked soon. I'm like a mole rat. It's disgusting. Really, you'd shove a kitten in a glass jar? Get in there. What else could it be? A bird with the feathers going? Really? That's sick. That's pretty sick. A bird in there. There's no bathroom in here. Do you have any idea how bad it smells in here? It's nasty. Anybody else? Because it doesn't matter what's in there, does it? I mean, if you're telling the story, does it really matter? Something has to happen to the thing that's inside. The rose's petals are falling off. It's dying. So something is inside. So it doesn't really matter what's inside. But in my story, it's a slice of pepperoni pizza. Anybody know what these things are called? This type of jar? That's right. That's right. They used to kill little birds and stick them on sticks and put them on their coffee tables. And people say, oh, how cute. It's a slice of pepperoni pizza. And the pepperonis are falling off the greasy face of the pizza. And they're hanging on the tip for just a moment. And then, boom, they fall. Bellini looks at it and says, ooh, pizza is fattening. Now I really hate this guy because I love my pizza pies. Suddenly the door flies open. It's Miss Beast. What are you doing in here? What was I doing? I was just leaving, baby. Now, in every fairy tale, we got plot point 2. In every fairy tale, there is a teller of the tale. Someone who has to explain what's up with the Barbie doll painting, what's up with the slice of pepperoni pizza, who is this beast lady. In the Disney movie, you get the guy going, be my guest, put the magic to the test. So you need a teller. So Bellini walks downstairs and he steps on a rug. And the rug says, get off of me. And he says, what, man? You're a rug. You're just lying there. He says, I do not lie. He says, no, you're a rug. You're just lying there. I do not lie. He says, okay, you're a rug. You're just laying there. That's better because I tell the truth. And the rug tells him the tale. The rug says, when the last pepperoni falls off the greasy face of the pizza, Miss Beast will be a beast forever. But if she finds love, baby, she'll turn back into the Barbie doll. Bellini thinks about this for a long time. No more jokes, I promise. He says, if I marry her, do I get the solid gold driveway and the topiary bushes in the shapes of famous NFL football players? And the rug says, yeah, which is hard because rugs don't have thumbs. He says, if I marry her, do I get the Frank Lloyd Wright-inspired home of wooden, stone, and glass on the roof that at least goes, that's how Frank made them? And the rug says, which is particularly hard because they don't have heads. So if I marry her, do I get the French Impressionist paintings and the plasma screen TV and the lazy boy with the built-in toilet? And the rug says, yep, which is near impossible because rugs don't have lips. And she turns back into the Barbie doll. That's right. Sweet. The next morning, Bellini is standing at the bottom of the stairs. He's got a rose between his teeth. Miss Beast is walking down. He says, I love you. She says, excuse me? I love you. Excuse me? Look, take the rose out of your mouth, you annoying little man. I love you, baby. Marry me. I'm good looking. Now, the last pepperoni is sliding down the greasy face of the pizza. It's hanging on a single piece of cheese. It's swinging back and forth like this, even though it's in a glass jar and there's no wind. It's just more exciting this way. He says, marry me, or you'll be a beast forever. And Miss Beast looks down and her eyes grow wide. And her smile grows so big. And she says, I wouldn't marry a jerk like you if you're the last person on the face of the earth, you annoying little man. And the pepperoni falls off the pizza. Now, is that a happy ending? Do you think she should marry Bellini? Turn back into a Barbie doll? Well, you'd be surprised what answers kids will give. At a certain age, second grade kids will say, oh, no, you've got to be pretty. You've got to be pretty. By the time most ladies now, fifth grade, they'll say, oh, no. But the truth is, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody deserves to be loved. Love is a really important thing. So I'm going to do something now. If it ever happens in a movie, this late in the movie, you go to the manager, you say, give me my money back. Because that ending was a stinker, man. Who did the editing? Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Who could be at the door? Pizza guy. Pizza guy. Way to go, girlfriend. And it's not just any pizza guy. It's a pizza beast, baby, who happens to be studying medicine at Johns Hopkins Hospital. He has eyes that melt butter. He has a visible scar because chicks dig that. He has a home for orphan kittens. I know, that's called pandering. Their eyes meet. Well, not hers, because she's looking at you. There's love, baby. Is that a happy ending? Yeah. How many people think Bellini goes to years of psychiatric counseling to find out that it's what's on the inside that matters, not what's on the outside? No. No. Yes, that's got to be. No. She says, what about me? I'm good looking. She says, you're better looking when you're flying, Bubba. Whee! She throws him out of the house. And Bellini is such a stooge. He is being chased by the killer turtles. He's running away this fast. He's going, no. And there's a turtle behind him going, ma, ma. And he goes, no. Ah. And that's the end of the story. And I go. Sure. Call my wife and tell her. I think nobody's more surprised that people listen to me.
So we have a few minutes for questions for Kevin.
Anybody want to do a children's book? Don't. Stay the hell out of my business. Yeah.
Okay, what if it wasn't delivery? It was DiGiorno.
It could be DiGiorno. I could suddenly get into the advertising game. My books now include ads. Bellini walked through the woods in a pair of Florsheim shoes. I've never seen a book that does that. Not yet, anyway. Mercifully, we try to keep the separation of merchandise away from kids. And my favorite guy is Bill Walderston, Calvin and Hobbes. The guy did calendars and collections. He never made a Hobbes doll. He never made a Calvin doll. He never made an animation with it. And he's tried to find a picture of that guy in the last 25 years. He's gone. And what a brilliant guy that is. He doesn't sell shit to kids. So I have rules in my books that I don't do merchandise. I've been offered movie stuff and like, nope, I do books. Anybody else? Yeah.
What are some suggestions you have for cultivating the creative process in people that may not be as creatively inclined as you?
I'm going to repeat the question for that.
Okay.
She's asking what, I'm sorry, now you're going to repeat. What do you feel like
cultivating the creative process?
Yeah, what do you feel like cultivates the creative process for you?
Well, the big one is that pad of paper thing. I didn't really start being crazy about drawing until about 20 years ago. I mean, I drew, but I drew with intent. So I need to draw a dog, so I sat down and drew a dog. But now I find it's much more interesting to have a piece of paper and just keep making marks. And you start writing words, that's the easiest way to cultivate a creative thought, is to just keep spilling ideas all over the page. And don't be embarrassed by stick figures. If you haven't been to the Visionary Art Museum, go down and respect people that make art because they have to. They are compelled to do it. It's the greatest museum in the country as far as I'm concerned. I mean, some people clearly need medication, but you wouldn't want them as your neighbor, but there's still like a heart surgeon down there who does paintings in his free time. I mean, when he gets done a heart, he goes and he paints. And so it doesn't matter. Listen, this is the truth. When you die, I don't care how much money you leave your kid, the thing that will be most important to your great-grandkids is something you made. an object, a thing. And it doesn't matter if it's a painting or if it's gluing toothpicks together. Somebody will hold that little object and they will delight in the idea that the person that they barely knew has created this thing. And so everybody can do it, and you got to get rid of the idea that there is such a thing as good art and bad art. Art is just art. Art is just making. It's just doing. It's delightful, you know? So stop judging yourself against somebody else. You know? You can't paint the Sistine Chapel. I'm very sorry. You know? Big deal. He's already done. Why copy it, you know? So, you know.
When you're writing books, is it, like, do you think of the storyline and the characters first, or do you sketch and then the story and the character?
It can go all sorts of ways. Sometimes I get the story down. But getting stories is hard because that plotting, picture books are generally 32 pages. That rule is going to change in the electronic book age, but 32 pages, so I figured out a way where I can do this plot pointing in 8 pages, so it's 8 pages, 8 pages, 8 pages, 8 pages. So, but you need to get your turns. You got to get your plot points in there, and you certainly got to know how to end it. You can't just sort of write. And I wrote a book, I ended up with 20,000 words. And I edited it, it got down to 2,000 words, and then it went down to 200, now it's down to 20 words. And all of them are verbs. Like, I'm the worst editor in the world, man. It's a bad book. But no, sometimes you get a character in your head, you say. But in most cases in children's books, you could take any of the books that I've done and turn them into somebody else. You could make the ladybug a bear if you felt like it. You could just change it up any way you want. So it all depends. I've written over 300 stories, and only, I think, 40 of my books have been published. People don't recognize genius the way they should. They just, it's a damn shame, you know. I've got some brilliant stuff. My favorite book is about an elephant in a Speedo. It's all about observation. You know, like, this guy's walking at the pool. He's got the towel, you know, that kind of thing. And one of the editors said, "Can you make it a teddy bear?" I'm like, no, it's got to be an elephant. What's wrong with you people? You know? Anybody else? Well, get up and have coffee then. Thank you very much. Thank you.